Watch the clip. What are you talking about?
Hey guys, Scarra here with your TFT patch rundown. We're gonna show you how to play TFT in the set galaxies. We're gonna pick the 2 Star Guardians, put the poppies in the front, put the rebels, we got the brawlers, we got the Malphite, the Kha'Zix, and the Fiora on the bench here. The comp's looking alright right now. Might level it up, but might sell them for favorable other comp. We got a large rod. We're gonna look for some items. We're gonna walk over this blue thing. Got a BF store. The BF store building a couple items. And we won the round. What are we gonna get here?
The fuck? That's not how I sound like.
Yeah, Fiora sucks. Get the little bear here.
All right, I do say Fiora sucks. I admit that one was on point. I haven't done one of these in forever, actually. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my patch TFT set note 10.7. 10.7? Is that the right patch? Wow. All right, patch 10.7, patch note rundown. The reason why I didn't do these last month was because I was focused on League of Legends, and I didn't want to do a patch note on the game I wasn't really playing that much. Because I thought that like part of the reason why the patch notes are good is because I played a lot, so I know what's meta, what's strong, weak, and where I want the game to go, and how I want the game to look, or how the game looks right now. This current patch notes, I feel very comfortable. I played a lot of TFT on this set. And I can tell you right now, the top comps. So let's really quickly talk about the meta. The top comps right now are 6 Cyber, Rebels. I like to put GP in Rebels because it's like synonymous, but GP's in every comp. On top of there's 6 Star Jin. There's Mystic Protectors. And those for the most part are the most common comps in the game. There's usually one person who slides in the top with there's also Blaster Brawlers, and there's one person who slides in with Mech Infiltrators. So those are probably the 6 or 5 most common comps that you'll see, and you'll see that played pretty much every game at a high level. Those 5 or 6 comps, which is pretty interesting because I think that the strength of those relative comps is so high that it's hard to contest them, but there's still 5 or so comps that are played reasonably at the same time. So what are we looking at right now? Okay, I'm gonna just ignore this graphic. It looks nice. I give them props for that. I like how it looks. Good job. Systems, Galaxy Mechanics. It's here with Pomp and Circumstance. As a reminder, all your TFT games have a chance to start with one of the following effects or no effect at all. If you can tap the Galaxy icon on the top left of the banner to find out more information about any specific galaxy. The Nicoverse, everyone gets 2 free copies of Nico. Lilac Nebula, the first chaos contains only 4 costs. Medium Legends, the little legends are larger and have 25 starting health. They're only coming with 3. Initially when it was hinted at that there would be 5 different ones, but instead they decided to drop it down to only 3. That's interesting. I have the same exact opinion of these mechanics as they did the last time I saw them. The Nicoverse one, usually Nicoverse is you Nico your first 4 cost unit, you double Nico to start a win streak and build your comp around. Alternatively, if you're really strong, you can save double Nico for your first 5 cost unit, and that will help you win the game as opposed to push top 4 with the double 4. That's pretty much how it's used in every situation. I've one time before used it on a 3 cost pirate to snowball the mid game, but for the most part, it's pretty consistently only used on 4 or 5 costs. Lilac Nebula, the first carousel contains only 4 cost units. This one's fun. Don't get baited into running certain carries, in my opinion, because a lot of the carries, especially Vel'Koz, is hard to get off the ground. At 1 star, they don't have enough health, so a lot of times they get killed instantly by random damage. With the exception of maybe Kael does enough damage at 1 star to be really, really relevant. But the other ones are, I would say, pretty scary, so be careful about taking the carries. The front lines, especially Cho'Gath, allows you to build really well with any comp and build backwards. So I really like Cho'Gath as a first for this. Medium Legend, little legends are larger and you have 25 starting health. For me, this just means I can lose more. Like, I would want to open and sandbag all the way to level 8 pretty much. Right now, if you lose every round before stage 4, you're probably at 30 health, 25 health, and you're just dead. But if I'm at 50 health at level 7.5 going into the stage 4, I can then ultra sandbag to level 8 to get 5 cost units. That's the number one thing I'm going to try. So at least for me, this just screams like I can lose really, really hard. Other stuff drops. Level 8 shop drop rates got decreased on the level 5 cost. This is so probably because everyone's spamming rolling level 8. The rule, I don't think this is that much relevance. It's nice to have 1% less, but the biggest problem right now is, let's just make sure that I don't talk about something that's going to get changed. Okay, so right now the current situation is that the damage is not that high early, which allows you to econ significantly harder than you could before. In the last set, I feel like it was you stabilized at 7 and then you went, you pushed 8 quickly if you're really strong. In this current set, it's you stabilize at 8 and you push 9 if you're really strong. The fact that you're probably seeing level 9 on 5 of the 8 players is really different than earlier sets. It's very strange for me because I don't know if I like that kind of, I guess, consistency. It feels like the way I see the game is that the damage goes from 10 to 15 from stage 5 to 6. Stage 6, everyone's dead. Pretty much no one goes to stage 7 most of the times. So like when stage 6 hits, sometimes 6 people are alive, and in 2 rounds, 2 people are alive. But the drastic difference between stage 6 and the prior rounds feels like it's very bad. Like I don't think that they've adjusted the damage correctly. I'd like to see them adjust. It's that people take a very tiny amount, a bit more damage early game. At least for me. The rules of the item stay, which bounce off which combining units now prioritize items on champs on board over those you get over the carousel. Cool. So they changed the rules to where the items on your unit on board will stay when you're making 2 cost units or 2-star units or 3-star units, which is great because if you find something off the carousel that you want that and you want to keep your items, like you'll always do that, and you can build and push off components correctly when you upgrade. Always cool. Odyssey, a special carousel has been reduced. I think it's by quite a bit. This is also good. I didn't really like seeing weird special carousels. And removing the additional 5 seconds per planning phase was done at the start of each fight. Sure. That just means the games are faster. I'll probably appreciate that more right now. Traits. Blade Master has a chance to activate 5% more at 6 blades. I don't think this does anything for blades, by the way. I think blades are just useless. I don't know about useless, but it feels like a lot of the blades are relatively weak. I don't think Yi's that good. I think Yasuo is okay. Fiora is weak. Kayle is really good. Aurelia is really good, and then that's it. And then Xayah exists. I know Xayah's getting buffed, like down here, right? But just in general, I think 6 blades is pretty impossible without multiple blade spats for the most part. So I don't really like it that much, but maybe with the nerfs of some of the really strong champions, the fights are elongated enough to where 6 blades will come back. But definitely I think 6 blades needed some love. This seems a little small, but we'll see. Brawler buff, health buff at 4 got decreased at 50, probably irrelevant. Chrono attack speed buff got increased at 6, mainly irrelevant. For the most, I will say in general, Chrono got a buff on this patch because they're nerfing a lot of the really strong units, including GP, which we'll get to all the way down here. But what ends up happening is the fights being over slower helps Chrono a lot. So I don't necessarily know if Chrono needs that many more buffs. It's just that they just need the fights to be less fast so they're able to constantly stack the attack speed buff. Currently on the meta right now, that's not possible because GP will end your team's life in 8 seconds. So you're only given 1 proc, 2 procs at best with Chrono. But hopefully, like now, Chrono will actually be pretty good. And I think for Chrono, the mid game is already really, really strong. Darkstar rework. When the Darkstar champion dies, all their allied Darkstars get 25 AD and 35 spell power. I like this a lot, mainly because it allows you, it opens up the idea that you can carry Lux more. Because Lux seemed like a really strange Darkstar unit. There weren't really many comps where you go Darkstar with Lux, and she felt really out there. But given more spell power, I like the idea that you can make any of the 3 carries somewhat of a carry. I like that a lot. And also remember that all the individual carries have AP scaling, and I think this helps out Shaco as well in the 6 Darkstar comp because he's able to crit for some stupid number. Mana Reaver reworked to 2 instead of 4. Mana Reaver attacks increase the mana cost of the target's next spell by 40%. There's no longer a 4-piece. I think this is really good. I don't think a lot of the Mana Reavers are bad. Like, when I think about it, I think Darius himself is good. Aurelia is great. Cassian's pretty good. Thresh is not great because he's a win more unit, but he's like usable. So I think it's something where I would like to see more Kaelin based and Mana Reaver based comps kind of move on ahead. When you think about it, there's a lot of units right now that people put in the front to ulti quickly, like GP, and if you place your Mana Reaver in front of that unit, like you'll be able to slow down the way they want to set up the fight really quickly. I think currently on live it's not that possible outside of GP, slowing down GP, but I think hopefully in the future with this that Mana Reavers will become more relevant. Mystic 4 MR got decreased. Okay, Sniper bonus got increased. I don't think snipers needed more help. Jin was already doing very, very well. So I'm surprised to see this buff, but the 4 Mystic buff is kind of surprising. No, honestly, it's probably not that surprising because you need 4 Mystic to deal with Rebels in the current meta. But now that they're gonna nerf like GP in general and Rebels, like they're nerfing Mystic to counterbalance so they can. If you're really AP comp, you can actually run over Mystic. Currently, if you're playing against 4 Mystic and you don't have Ionic Spark, it's kind of really difficult. And remember, Ionic Spark is always the soft counter to Mystic, if you ever have one. 2 Mystic got buffed by 5, but I think relatively that's pretty irrelevant. Moving on. So Kaelin cast time decreased by 0.4, which is a lot. Almost shaved a third of the time off. Really cool. I think there is a situation where you could maybe stack more items on Kaelin so she's stronger in the mid game. Especially with Shojin on her early, it would be nice. Now resumes attacking more quickly after firing her bullet. I will say Shojin Kaelin early might be a good way to kind of work through the early game, which I like. Xayah got her attack speed buff, which is cool. She's still kind of a useless unit outside of giving shivs onto her, but I think as a transition unit, she's okay. Ziggs got his mana cost increased by 5, so he doesn't just shell out ultis. That's a small nerf that he probably deserved. Zoe got pushed to 70, 100 out of 90, 120. I remember someone telling me Zoe was OP, which I think in late game situations, it is true. CC is very, very strong. But the fact that Star Guardians are weak because they have units that have insanely high mana costs. And so being able to shove down the mana cost of a Star Guardian unit actually helps Sorcerers and Star Guardians tremendously. So this is really, 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 really nice. Darius' health goes up crazy. I think he's already a really good unit. Xin Zhao mana goes up by 10 and his damage goes up by 25. This is definitely a nerf to Xin Zhao. Even with that being said, I think Xin Zhao is still a very, very strong unit. So he gets buffed by a little bit of damage here, but he loses this, which is the most important thing. So the thing about Xin Zhao is he generates mana mainly by taking damage, and he's a frontliner. He's used most commonly in the 4 Mystic 4 Protector comp right now. I think he's going to be used in the same exact way. I think he's still going to have the same items. He's going to do the same exact thing. He's going to be a little bit weaker at it. Not a big deal. He's still going to be a great unit. Tier 3 champs, Azrael got a 15 mana nerf. So he can't use his ulti. Okay. He got 50 spell damage nerf as well. Wow, that's crazy. Azrael actually got hit quite a bit. I think they were really worried about his initial ulti kind of impacting the game too much. Wait, what is this? Sorry, it's bothering me. I think this is a preliminary, like this is a nerf that they're doing in advance because they're worried about the champion being strong in the meta after GP. I think Ezreal is a good mid game unit, and a lot of times his ulti is very large and it affects the field quite hard. It's essentially AoE Mana Reaver, right? So they're really worried about this being too good, and so they preemptively nerfed it. I don't necessarily know if Ezreal's OP, so but sure, I can see him being a little bit strong. I'm surprised they double nerfed him though. Kaelin mana going down. This unit's gonna be good. I'm telling you, Kaelin is gonna be a good fucking unit. He does something that no other unit in the game does, which is AoE disarm. And his base values are not bad, and it's an AoE spell. Like, he's gonna be good at some point. Like, if they keep buffing him, especially Mana Reaver and his total mana, he is gonna be a strong unit. The most common times I see Kaelin do super well is when you infiltrator Kaelin, and he's like right in front of a rebel stack. I think that makes. That does really, really well, especially on certain comps like against Jinx. Kaelin does great as well, or Jin. What is this? Shaco spell damage goes down. I think it's fine. Shaco may have been too strong at 3-star. Not a big deal. They nerfed him by a little bit. Soraka, weakest 4-cost unit in the game. I think they decreased her total mana and they increased her spell power healing by 50 across the board. Okay, cool. So remember what I said about Star Guardians? Each Star Guardian that gets their mana reduced is better for the overall synergy. I definitely think that Sorcerers suck right now. Real talk. And Star Guardians suck more than Sorcerer mechs, which is probably the only top tier relative comp. So 6-star Guardians is pretty unplayable, but for them to buff 2 mana costs of Star Guardians is definitely a push in the right direction, I would say. Especially this unit. Honestly, they can have her healing do 9,000. I'm surprised. Why is it capped at 2? I don't care if Soraka full heals the comp. If someone gets a 3-star Soraka, they deserve it. At 2,000 against Morelos, it heals for 1k on the team. It doesn't really do anything, in my opinion. I don't care if it heals for 5,000. It's not a big deal. So I'm surprised they kept it at 2 for 4 costs. I think she's still the weakest 3-star 4-cost unit in the game, and still one of the weakest 4-cost units, period. Is she weaker than Wukong? Yes, absolutely. The thing about Wukong, let me put this. Wukong is the weakest 4-cost frontliner, and the reason is he doesn't do that much damage. He's CC'ing, but it feels like he doesn't do enough. However, he does enable 4 Vanguard, and he enables Chrono as well, which is going to be better in this in this meta after the patch. And so he did need a little bit of a buff. I do like the 100 health, helps out a lot. But he's definitely way more viable than Soraka and Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz got another mana adjustment. Remember, he started the set initially, I think, on PBE at 90 mana. They reduced it by 80, and they reduced it to 70. When I tell people about Sorcerers, I tell them, do not play Sorcerers without at least 2 tiers. And then when I tell them about Vel'Koz, I tell them, don't play Vel'Koz without 4 tiers. So, or like 3 tiers. So I think Vel'Koz is closing in on the territory where he's going to be very good. Because Vel'Koz, they shaved essentially 20 mana off this unit from when I first saw him. If Vel'Koz can get his ulti off, he crushes people a lot of times. But him getting the ulti off early enough in the fight requires a lot of tiers for you to go that route. I want to say that there is a chance that Void becomes decent, assuming the game slows down a little bit for Vel'Koz to be able to pop off. We're like, this might be make Vel'Koz good enough, or we're 10 mana away from Vel'Koz being like a top tier unit. I think even with bad AI, he'd still be good. Finally, 5 costs. The thing that like pretty much we needed to see the most here. So Aurelion Sol gameplay was taking over every game with Aurelion Sol, and Lulu, and pretty much every comp right now fast pushes 8 for legendaries because legendaries are way too strong, and you don't take enough damage to punish you for fast pushing 8. So aside from mech sorcerers and mech infiltrators and mystic protectors, everyone pushes 8. So nerfing 5 costs, I think, is the right direction to go to. So Aurelion Sol damage nerf good. Target selection per fighter launch is now random, from weighted random favoring nearby. Okay, good. Bad? Wait. I think that's bad, because when you're counterplaying Ace Soul, you want to be, I guess it front loads the damage less on your melees, your frontline, but it increases the randomness of your carry getting randomly killed by Ace Soul. So I think it's a nerf in the sense that your units die slower. I guess that's all that matters, as opposed to your units getting killed off one by one. Yeah, okay. It can only be a problem if the game slows down enough to where Morelos on Ace Soul, being able to apply it conveniently enough to every unit on the map becomes a problem. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. Morelos is a little bit better due to this target, a little bit. Echo damage goes down by 50. Okay, cool. Another nerf to Echo. Nothing. I'm seeing nothing but good stuff. GP. Okay, thank God. This unit's so broken. GP does more damage. GP1 does more damage than 4 sorcerers right now. So there's no reason to run sorcerers ever, because what would happen would be you'd run 4 sorcerers, run into the GP with GA, he'd ulti once, one shot all of your sorcerers, and then you do more damage than your sorcerers, pretty much. So it feels really bad to play against GP in any situation. On top of that, he stuns your team. So nerfs this unit were definitely necessary. Like, if he's keeping the CC, the base damage needs to go. So they're shaving off 200 at level 1 and 250 on level 2, which, to be honest, he fucking deserved. This unit is still going to be really strong. Don't get me wrong. However, hopefully you don't need a Tekken 4 Mystic to counterplay this champion. Additionally, he should almost never get 2 ultis off ever again, which is good. Thank God. I'm glad he got hit this hard. He definitely deserved it because he literally taking over every game. Lulu attack speed that decreased as well. Notice that amongst all these nerfs, the Lulu attack speed one kind of whatever. Echo damage one, it's important. Okay, like it's 50 damage off each individual unit. But the Lulu one's probably the least important, and Thresh didn't get nerfed. So right now Thresh is a win more unit, but Chrono just got buffed. There's also Mana Reaver that just got buffed, and the fights may be lasting a little bit longer, so you might see the value of Thresh actually increase by quite a bit. So I'm definitely going to be trying him out as soon as the patch hits. AMF actually got her attack speed nerfed. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize this was still tier 5. They kind of spaced this out weird. Wait, why did they... Wait, what? So they left a separate section for MF, and then they bolded it differently and did a different section, so it looks like I'm reading into tier 6 units, right? Sorry, this is really weird. So they decreased MF attack speed. They made it into mana so that she will only ulti once a fight pretty much, and they lowered her overall damage, which is correct. I think this is all good nerfs, well deserved. She, alongside GP, was doing too much damage. So yeah, every 5 cost unit got nerfed except for Thresh, and Thresh got buffed in 2 different ways. The TLDR of all these changes is that the fights will be lasting a little bit longer, a lot of times. And that's exactly what you want. So right now the fights are super burst heavy. The GP opens with the ulti, your team's dead. And your GP opens with ulti as well, and then their team's dead. And a lot of the game is about, can I Zephyr their GP? Can I Lulu ulti the GP? Stuff like that. I think if the game pace slows down a little bit, then stuff like Chrono and stuff like other comps can be able to rise to the forefront. Alright, keep going. Items. Morello red buff got nerfed. Well deserved. I think Morello probably not that much, but red buff is overtuned. I think it shares alongside G8. It's I think my opinion for the best item in the game right now is red buff. It allows you to push mid game really well, really healthily. You put red buff on any blaster and he just crushes the game. And it's all the damage you need in the mid game. Shiv damage increase I think is a good thing because Shiv is really weak. I think you only use it on... The biggest problem with this set is there's no good Shiv users. Realize there's no rangers anymore, so there's nothing that increases with attack speed outside Blade Masters, really. His blasters don't really kind of want to do that. So, and Shiv has always notoriously been an early game item. So outside of Xayah, which has like 100% attack speed buff, no other unit can use it that well. Chrono exists as a team-wide buff, but not an individual unit buff, I feel. And it makes it a lot weaker because Chrono, like you want Shiv and Chrono at different times. Where Chrono is like kind of if the fight's longer, then Chrono does really, really well, but Shiv's only good early game. But like both of those tend to fall off at the same time. And you want stronger powered items later as well, like stuff like Giant Slayer and stuff like potentially red buff will outscale Shiv much in the later game unless your unit has a lot of attack speed built in or a lot of extra autos like BM or Xayah pretty much. So right now Shiv only has one good user, which is Xayah, and she's too weak as a 1-star to really make Shiv like go crazy, in my opinion. You could transfer the Shiv to the Kael in a BM comp so that maybe you have that could work, but then your Kael has a weaker item. So it's hard to say. Warmog's regen goes up from 4% to 5%. Okay. I think it's hard to say how good Warmog's is, honestly, because there's so many red buffs. So probably does need it. Miscellaneous. Echo, Lucian, Aurelia sends out Echo attacks perform part of a smoke that trigger the effects of Shiv, Rage Blade, and Hurricane. Okay, I actually like this a lot. So Sinzao didn't trigger Rage Blade when he used his 3 talent strike, which really pissed me off. It's super annoying. Wait, does this mean that Lucian can trigger Shiv off his autos? Oh, Lucian actually can hard carry with Shiv now. Actually, okay, so we found the second Shiv user. Maybe Shiv actually does come back because Lucian Shiv can go crazy. Lucian with red buff and Shiv hard carries your mid game for sure. The rest of them doesn't really matter because Aurelia with Rage Blade will be okay. But everything else is okay. I'm surprised that there's 2 echoes. I wonder if that was supposed to be a different unit, maybe. But let's keep going. Champions not celebrate when they're victorious in combat. I don't know what that means, but I think that's good. Great Splash Art has been updated to more closely matches in-game model. Okay. Wait, can they... Okay, I really want... One of the things I really want is that Azrael and Kael, their 1 and 2 star versions are too similar. I want them to kind of look a little smaller or a little bigger. I was hoping that I would have one of those changes. It's like... Visually, I want to be able to see the game and tell if they're 1 or 2 star. I don't have that problem with any other unit. But I'm hoping that those 2 units, are good. Halo Justice no longer scales with AP. Okay. Rebel Shield no longer scales with AP. This is a big nerf. Mainly to Azrael stackers, because like last game is a good example. I had Death Cap on my Azrael, 190% AP, so I had like a 2000 shield for no reason. It was like 500 too much. Lucian's Relentless Pursuit now counts as an attack for the purposes of Blaster. Lucian is so broken now. I swear to God. I can't believe they keep... this is a bug fix, sure, but Lucian is going to be so strong. He's probably up there with... That's the strongest 2-star unit in the game right now. Holy shit. Lucian is going to take over, for sure, the mid-games. Lucian's already amazing right now. Red buff Lucian, too, carry you to stage 4. But now it's, even more so. Jeez. Fix an issue where MF was sometimes not turned during bullet time. Okay. Aurelian Soul now works on GA. Cool, that's good. Zoe to deal magic damage. Okay. Gunblade not correctly heals with dealing with... Oh, wait, this was a problem? I didn't even know. Wait, that's actually such a big... Especially in the current meta where there's a lot of rebels, not healing on your Gunblade. I didn't even know this. Space Pride's no longer generally go from attempting to deal lethal damage to Fiora when she's invulnerable. I had this happen to me every game I played against Fiora when I had Darius too. I was making so much free gold off Fiora. Mobile corner. I don't play mobile. Okay. What else do I want to see this game? Alright, here's the big thing. So GP getting nerfed by a lot, and 5 cost in general makes it weaker to push level 8, especially with a little bit less percentage chance to roll, quite a lot less, to roll legendaries at level 8. I mean, it might mean that you need to stabilize more at level 6, 7, or it might mean that the high roll at 8 is even more important. Regardless, it should be that the game pace slows down a little bit because GP is no longer murdering your entire comp in the first 5 seconds. So comps like Chrono and maybe comps like Blade Master might see a lot more appeal. I think Kael might do very well in this current meta. Infiltrators will definitely do pretty well. And hopefully Sorcerers can kind of survive. Because Sorcerers were getting outbursted, right? That's why they got pushed out. But with a lot of buffs to Star Guardians and some buffs to Vel'Koz, you might see some Sorcerers come back into the meta. Everything else that's already currently good, I think is going to be very, very strong. And I think Blaster Brawler is going to be the best comp in the game. Probably. When I think about Blaster Brawlers and how many buffs they're going to get in the mid game, Blaster Brawlers and Cybernetics are probably going to be the strongest comp. But we'll see. Mainly because I feel like Lucian, their main carry unit in the mid game, got buffed so much that it's really difficult to say. It's going to be an interesting couple weeks. But overall, good patch to nerf a lot of the 5 cost out of existence. And I really think they should have introduced Galaxies a lot earlier because it helps kind of bring together the set a lot. So I'm very happy to see these in right now. I also think Darkstar Jin... The thing about Darkstar Jin is Darkstar Jin already gets kind of countered by Brawler Jinx at the moment, from what I understand. And countered. It's mainly used as a Rebel counter at the moment. And so I think Brawler Blaster is going to be really good. Really, really good. We'll see what happens.